Okay, next on our agenda is Widgets with Marcia Berkey and Bill Crowe. And I think both of you have co-hosts, so you should be able to share. Not sure which one of you is going to share your screen, but take it away.
Hewie, and welcome everyone. We're so glad that you came and that you support STUG. It's wonderful to see you. I'm Marcia Berkey, and I'm a little bit Android.
And I'm Bill Crowe, and I'm a little bit of iOS. And we're going to talk to you today about widgets. Go ahead.
I will be covering how to use them on Android devices.
And I'll be covering how to use them on Apple devices.
We're going to start with Android. I wanted to show you a little bit about widgets. And Android has had widgets for over 10 years. They're not as necessary now as they used to be and the only reason for that is because the apps have gotten so good that they don't rely on widgets nearly as much. But I will show you some examples of them. I'll show you how you add them and how I might use them. For example, here on the home screen, I have a widget for weather, and it's showing me it's 70 degrees right now in Sarasota and the date and when it was updated, and a little visual of how it looks outside. That's up to date. It's real time. Although it shows you when it was last updated, and that's due to the weather app, not to the widget. If I click on it, I can go to the app itself. If I go to another screen, I will show you another widget, and that's this notes widget. So if I wanted to see notes, then I can have this up here. It will show me, you can see that it's larger, and that's called a 2 by, if you can picture the screen, it's in this grid, and each of the icons is a grid. That might be a 2 by 3, but different widgets take up different amounts, and some of them you can set for yourself. Now, most widgets, they tell you they're on the home page, but you can actually put them on any page that you want. I'm going to go back to the home screen by clicking on the circle in the middle bottom, and that takes me back to my home screen. All of these icons, except for the weather, are shortcuts to apps. And if I swipe in an empty spot on the home screen, it will take me to all of my apps, and I have them sorted alphabetically. You can see the 3 vertical dots on the right of the search bar. If I click on that, then it has a choice for sort, and I have it alphabetical. You can do a custom order if you want, but I do alphabetical. Just makes it a little bit easier to find my apps, so I can scroll through and find those. I'll go back by pressing the little back arrow in the bottom right on my Android, but it's in different places for different Androids. All of these icons are shortcuts to the apps that we found by swiping up in an empty area. Within an empty area on the home screen, if you press and hold, don't swipe up, just press and hold, then it brings up this window, and down below you can see the wallpaper if you wanted to choose a different background, themes, widgets, that's where we're going, or the home screen settings. So we're going to go to widgets, and I'll tap on widgets, and it tells me different widgets that I can have right here. And all of these dots down on the bottom right, they show more pages, so that if I swipe, it will show me, you'll see that the highlighted dot moves over, and it shows me other widgets that I can get. So I can just scroll through all these and find any widget that I want. And notice that each widget has a size on it. 4 by 2, 2, 3. Different 5 by 1. So they take up a little bit more space. You can just keep going through these. You might want to add the widget. If I added the Gmail widget, like I have a shortcut to Gmail app, but if I added the Gmail widget, it would actually be showing me my email list on my screen. If you wanted to, you can click in the search bar, or you could click on the microphone if you wanted to search by voice and just search for a widget. Let's see, there's a lot of them for clocks. Search for clocks, and you can find different ones as well. When I click on clock, there's different choices. Do I want a dual clock showing my time and someone else's time? Digital, analog, alarm. We'll just say we want, we'll say dual clock. It will take up space. And let me see where I have a daughter in Hawaii. Ooh, this is a different kind of map. So I'm going to type it in. Hey, add. So here we have Eastern and Hawaii time. And that way I don't call her too early. But you can see that it's rearranged my other icons. That's all there is to widgets. I hope that was helpful for you. Different Androids may react differently. You may have to find them differently. So if this doesn't work on your Android, I would go to YouTube, type in how to add a widget on, and be specific on the model of your Android. And I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.
What we didn't mention to you is what if we look at the big picture, what are widgets? Widgets are little bits of information provided from various applications you may have, as Marcia described. With iOS 14 and with all Android devices, these widgets are available to you. Now, not all applications produce widgets, right? But many of them can generate information that's readily available. On the iPhone and the iPad, as you see on your screen, we have an iPhone on one side and an iPad on the other. To get to them, if I put my finger right there and drag it this way on the iPhone or iPad, and if I put it here on the iPhone, and again, drag from left to right, I can see the widgets that I have. Now, Apple was late to the ballgame with widgets, and they came out with widgets called, I'll call them the old widgets and new widgets. And if you scroll up on your device, right, you can see that I have a set of what we'll call old widgets that are surrounded by a gray box, and there's the activity monitor, app in the air, and app advance, right, are some apps that I have there that they're the old style. But if I scroll up further, each app is highlighted in general. In order to edit apps on either device, on either device, your iPhone or your iPad, you would tap and hold in a blank area, and the widgets start shaking. Now, you could have done it here by clicking and holding. They start shaking, and then you shift left to right. And there's the new widgets are up here, and the old ones are down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate all the old ones. So I hit the custom button, and I go minus, remove, and minus, remove. Okay? So now the only widgets I have are the new ones. All right? In order to add a new one, we forget about custom down here, and we go plus sign. Oops, let me do it. I get them to wiggle, and I click on the plus sign. And then Apple comes up and says, well, I have all these widgets I've pre-made for you. Do you want one of those? You can click on one of those and get it. For example, if I wanted my notes, I would just click here, I think, and I could drag it down and put it right there. Now let me add another one. Oops. Plus sign. Now, if I don't want one of the widgets that have been made for me, I scroll up. And here's all the apps that Apple has and that other apps that are on my device have that are capable of generating a widget. So if I want the weather app, I would come down here and click on it. Now there's something different here between this and the Android. When I click on it, it comes up and says, what size widget would you like? Small, medium, or large? Right? So I'm going to take a medium-sized one and I'm just say add widget, and it adds it. Not bad, huh? Now I'm going to add 2 weather widgets, and that'll explain why when I get them done. So I click that, and I'm going to scroll down again. Oop, down to the weather. I click on weather, and I want to make it another medium-sized one. Oop, come on. And I click add. So now you're saying, well, that's dumb, Bill. You got 2 Sarasota weathers. That's true. That's true. All right. Now, if I wanted to change something about that application, there's a way to go in and change it. If I long press the widget, it says I can remove it, I can edit on home screen, or I can edit the widget. I'm going to edit the widget. And each widget has something like this, and it says, oh, I can change the location. So I'm going to click the location, and I'm going to say Cupertino, right? Or I could say location, and I could actually type a new location up here, like, let's say, Underhill Center, Vermont, right? They don't have one. How about, there it is, Underhill, Vermont, and I'll click on that. All right. So now, hopefully I have one widget that's Underhill. It's 53 degrees there and 68 degrees in Sarasota, Florida. Okay, so all widgets have that capability in them. If you long press the widget, you can edit the widget, and each one's edit is slightly different. Okay, now, cool thing about the widgets here is you can change their location. If I go to my phone now, let me go to my phone. And I can move them around. I can move them up and down. Whoops. Got to get them to shake first. I can change the order of them, right? On the iPhone, they give you the capability to move them onto your home screen. So I'm going to make them shake on my iPhone. And I'm going to move that one that says Sarasota weather there. I'm going to put my finger on it, and I'm going to move it to the left. And now I'm going to put it on my home screen. Oops, too far. Okay, so now that widget is on my home screen. Now the cool thing, and on the iPad, you could have a piece stay on your iPad versus going from left to right on the screen. You could go to Settings, Home Screen and Dock, and say you want more. And then if you go back to the home screen, And now the widgets show up here. Okay? And your actual applications are shrunk in size a little bit. Key thing here is I wanted to show you is it's something called a stack. For example, on my iPhone, it says the Sarasota weather. If I put my finger, whoops, sorry about that. I tapped it and it takes me to that. It takes me to that application. If I put my finger here and just pull it down, it gives me other things that are in the stack. Like I have my weather, I have music, I have maps, and I have my stock, and I have on this day. And remember, I think, did I put the stack? I'm going to stack the two, Underhill and Sarasota, and I'll put one on top of the other. Now there's a stack there. And if I put my finger on it and pull it down, whoops, in the middle, when they're not wiggling, and pull it down, we get the different applications there. And that, my friends, are widgets, Apple and Android.
So, let me stop that. Widgets can be edited. They can be moved on any of these devices, and they can be very useful for you. Do realize that because they are real time, they're going to drain your battery faster. So they're all taking energy. And just if your battery's going down and that's an issue, look to your widgets. We hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching.
Thanks.